Hello everyone, Hammad here. Welcome to my channel, Cloud with Hammad, DIY Cloud Learning to Inspire. Today our web series is about deploying a highly available and fault-tolerant solution in Amazon Cloud. This is part 2 of the video. Before further delay, we will jump right in. If you're new here, subscribe, and if you are coming back again, enjoy my video. Don't forget to hit that like button. I would really appreciate. In our previous video, part 1, we have deployed 2 machines in our subnets, private subnets. Now I'm going to show you how to install IAS onto those private subnets. Already logged in. Click on Add Role. This is in the Server Manager. How to get to Server Manager, you just click up here and then hit Server Manager, Manage, Add Role. It is running. Also, we actually have 2 machines running here. One is on subnet 3 and one is on subnet 4. This is also ready. We'll just deploy them together. You can see the 4 subnet up here, and then this one actually is the subnet 3, I would say. Yes, and then click Manage, Add. This is where we would start. Next, role-based, features-based installation, making sure we are in the 2016 data center. We will select IAS, add feature, next. Framework 4.6 is fine, and next. And we want to make sure all the features that are within IAS is already there. Hit next, and then hit install. This is going to take a good 3-4 minutes. In the meantime, we'll go to our machine 4 and we'll do the same thing over there. Next, install IAS, add features, next, 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 install. Alright, so we are installing 2 web services, IAS, on those private machines. While it does that, I'm going to put a quick pause and then come right back up once this is installed. Be right back. Hello and welcome back. So we have installed Bastion here. We have installed IAS here. So we're just going to close this window. And then actually, let's turn off the enhanced security as well so that we don't get pop-ups every time we log in. What I mean is here, you click here, and then enhanced security, you need to turn it off. So that you don't get, every time you open up Internet Explorer, it will pop up to add site. And also, this is not advised. I am turning off firewall for now, but in production you should not even touch it. This is just a lab, so my recommendation is do not do this. I'm doing it just for making things easier. And then also, while we do that, we would want to make sure that we're logging into our subnet 3. Just want to make sure that we have everything intact. We'll just this is 10.3.20. I think I already have that ready. Just copy this for identification only. Just like this. Save, and then we'll just open up our browser. .10.0.3.20. Just want to make sure this is the IP. Let's make sure that our IIS is running. Yes, we have one on 10.3.20. Okay, one is done. We will connect to our second one. This is also installed. I will click close. Once again, I will go ahead and turn off the enhanced security. Firewall off. Again, not recommended, not advised. I'm just doing it to make it easier. Close this. I'm just going to make sure I change the page so that we know that we are looking at the right. So in order for you to change the page, you go to Windows. Actually, you go to your C drive, initpub, root, and then edit this file. And then I'll just copy the name. This is on 4. This is on 4. If you're not getting it and it doesn't make sense, I would love for you to message me and I'll help you deploy this solution. Just making sure everybody can see it. Bold it. Click X and add. All right, so this is done. Open up Windows Explorer. So we have installed IIS on these machine 10.4, 10.0.4.12, and then you can see the machine is running. All right, perfect. So we got two machines. If you go back here, we have IIS installed and subnet 3, and then IIS installed subnet 4. We have a bastion host which is on public. I also did install the IIS on this one as well, so want to make sure that we have so we have two machines running. IIS one IIS on this and this, and then we will do the same thing. I took the liberty of running a file that automatically installed it. This is Bastion host. This Bastion host you can connect from outside because this is public facing. So just for the sake of it, I'll show you in a second here. Click save, and this is public facing. You can definitely connect using your IP, which is I believe this is our IP. I'll copy this. I'll just show you first from inside, and then what we'll do is we'll go back into this is connected to internet gateway, so this is going to show us as the web browser here. There you go. You can see this is a Bastion host. We'll go back outside our network, type in this IP, and we should be able to connect to our Bastion host. You can see that here as well. All right. So far we have installed IIS on 3 of the subnets. One is public. 2 of them are in private. Next step would be to install an elastic load balancer and add them to the target group. So let's go to our AWS console, and then we will just go to our EC2. Load balancer is in EC2. We will come back here. You will see load balancer. You will click on it. There are 4 types of load balancers: application, network, classic, as well as gateway. We will be using application since we are deploying application. Classic load balancer you can create. This was used to be, but I think this is deprecated, so this is not going to be coming up soon. So we will use application gateway. We'll just give them a name, ELB-AWS Cloud HS. IP4, this is internet facing. Public, so always remember, when you are deploying a gateway as a load balancer, it's always on the public load balancer, and at the back end, the target group will be private machines. What happens is once we deploy the load balancer, it will give us what we call an endpoint. I'll show you in a second. So over here, availability zone, you want to make sure you connect, you are looking at the your VPC, and then you have 1A and 1B. You want to make sure you are deploying them onto public subnet. Make sure you are looking at public. So, and then these machine, the load balancer will be always on the public, and then it will target the private subnets. Hope that makes sense. Click next, next, and then we will create a new load balancer. We'll leave it at 80. I say ELB SG, ELB SG, which is on security 80. Anywhere is fine. Same thing. Click next. I would say ELB AWS Cloud HS. This is how the ELB comes in. We want to make sure that it is instance. You can do an IP range as well as Lambda function. And then click next. Target. Over here, you can see the target on those VPC. These are the 3 machines. We will use this one and this one on private, and we will hit register. Once we hit register, click next, and we will create. All right, perfect. So this is deploying a provisioning load balancer. We'll click here, and you can see this is provisioning. Target group we already did. It should show up here, target group, and once you get in here, you can see it will start target registration in progress. The health check should always be healthy. Once that happens, that means that we have basically deployed a successful load balancer. It's provisioning. I'm going to redo this, put the video on a pause for a second, and then come right back up. Thank you. All right, so it came up as active. We have deployed a load balancer. This is the DNS name, or I would say an endpoint that was given. I copied it just to make sure that they are healthy. I would go into this target group up here, click up here, and I want to make sure that this is still initializing. It is healthy, so we are good up here as well. So that's it. We did deploy a load balancer. We go back here. So if I go up here and do connect through my load balancer, this is external. This is outside internet. Once I use this load balancer, it will connect to the private subnet machines that I deployed the IaaS. So click here. There you go. So this is basically on private subnet 4, and if I keep refreshing it, go to subnet. So 4, it needs to be refreshed too. So let's do this. Let me go here, and I would do a private window here, and I would just do this, and this actually takes me to the 4 again. All right. Oh, there you go. So I refreshed it. Now I'm on subnet 3. So you can see subnet 3 is running, and it is balancing the load. Keep refreshing. It will change it to 4. So, you know, you can do that multiple times. That should be fine. Come back here. I would refresh here. It should either come back to 3 or 4. So it came back to 3. So it's balancing the load. So this is our step 6. Now we will create a DNS record into our Route 53. We'll get here. We'll use that load balancer endpoint, and we'll create a DNS record. So we'll go up here, route 53. We have one hosted zone. Actually, what we're going to do is we will create our own hosted zone. We'll click here, and I have multiple hosting zone of my own. I'm using a free service called FreeNom, so I'll use that, and I will create. I will take something from there. This is an extra step. If you already have a hosted zone, just use that. I'm just gonna grab one of them. These are my domains. I'll just use this one, cloudhs.ml, name server. I think I already have some, so I'll just copy this here, and then I'll go back to my hosted zone, cloud.ml, Hammad. It is public, create host. So we have hosted, and these are the registered DNS name. We'll copy this one, and we'll go back to our domain, and we'll paste this here, and then we'll just make sure all the 4 of them are here. These are the registered address in our domain, so I want to make sure this matches in my domain so that whenever I use cloud.ml, it pops up with my address. Change name. So this is, I've done DNS video as well. Feel free to look at it. That was in Azure, but this is basically cloud for AWS. We'll edit the cloudhs.ml. We'll get here. We'll get into this, and we'll create a record. Create a record. You want to make sure you use SOA, and then over here you will see what policy you want to evade. These are different type of policies. You can give 40% and 60% to one. Whoever is 60% will go on to 60% website, and then also geolocation. This is a detail. We can do a lab later on. And then over here you want to define a record, route traffic to another domain name or to some of the AWS resources. Yes, we will be routing traffic to AWS resource. What we'll do is we'll just make sure we have this address off of our load balancer, and then we'll paste it up here. Just making sure that we don't have HTTP. You can do whatever name. I would say VM. AWS Cloud HS. This is the name, project. Click next, and then it created. All right. So now I will use this name. I will go. I can give this to anyone. Like if you have www.awscloudhs.cloudhs.ml, hit enter. It will take me to wherever I want to. So that's the website. That's what we did was we added these load balancer into my domain. Now I have a domain. Whoever gets to AWS cloudhs.cloudhs.ml, they will hit our 2 machines on the private subnet. And basically load balancer will look at it, how busy it is, wherever they're going. So let's say if I want to, this is on this machine on subnet 4, I'm not sure if it's going to load, but just for the sake of it, this is also so loading up on the same zone. It should go 1, 2, 3. Anyways, so that's what happens for DNS. Our next step would be installing an RDS. All right, perfect. So let's go to our console, and now we will install RDS. We are on the page. RDS already listed here. Create a database. Standard database, as I said, we'll be using a Microsoft SQL database. So we will do an installation. You can do this one as well if you want. I will just use this for now. And then whatever version you like, test, production, or free tier, I'll do dev test. Database name, AWS Cloud HS, easier to remember. Password, AWS Cloud HS. Password, I will just keep it the same. And then you want to make sure that the size of the database, since this is a lab, it's showing up as standard as DBM6, but I'll just keep it to I'm not doing much, so I'll just drop it down to as low as possible. D3 micro, CPU 1 gig RAM, SSD storage is fine. Availability, I don't need multi-AZ right now, but if you are really deploying RDS, you need to have that in multi-AZ. Use my VPC. And then DB subnet, I would it would public facing, no. Choose an existing VPC, yes. VPC group, I'll create a new group. Security group. Okay, and then one thing, all set here. Want to make sure that additional configuration here, I would just HS, the database name. I don't need a backup, automatic backup, I don't need it. Encryption for now, I don't need it. I don't need to monitor it. I don't need to maintain it. This is a test, so you can just uncheck all of those. Pretty much everything is done. Now I am going to hit create, and we are good from there. Okay, so we will hit create. It does say that after a database is created, you can't change the VP selection. You already have a VPC under my name. And then, go ahead at the bottom and you will hit create. It usually takes good 5 or 10 minutes. So I'm going to put the video on pause and then come back. Instance did not work. Group is invalid group. Okay, we'll just change the name. RDS security group. And then come back here. Hit create. All right, so all good. It's going to take time. I'm going to put the video on pause and then come right back up once this is running. Okay, so database is still creating. I'm going to do a quick refresh. While the database is creating, what we'll do is we'll try to save some time, and we'll get to our Bastion host, and then what we're going to do is we will deploy a third-party software. It's called DB Viewer, and we will use that software to connect to our RDS database. Okay, just Google it. Oh yeah, you know why it's not working? Because we don't have an ad gateway. All right, perfect. So let's go back to our console here. Um, while it's still happening, the database is ready. We'll leave it like this for now. We'll connect, we'll get here. So if I want you to understand this. So even if I do google.com, it's not loading. The reason behind that is it does not have internet access. So even if I do cnn.com, it's not going to let me log into CNN because we don't have an ad gateway. See? It won't. All right, so we'll go back to our here and go back to our EC2. Sorry, I should be VPC. You can see that page cannot be displayed here when I did Google on private subnet because there's no outbound traffic. I'll get right here. We will click on to NAT gateway, internet gateway, and NAT gateway. Simple. Click create. Type in NAT AWS Cloud HS subnet. We will deploy it in subnet 2. This is also public facing. Subnet 2. This is also public. Elastic IP, we will allocate an IP address, an IP on it, and hit create. So it's going to take a little bit of time. Once this is provisioned, I'll come back back up. It's pending. Okay, so our NAT gateway is ready. This will still not work because let's say if I go up here and try to do a google.com, it will not work only because that we haven't in our route table we haven't added NAT gateway for it to know which route to go. So what we'll do is we'll just come here, we'll go to route table, and then this NAT gateway actually get associated in private route table. So once we get to, because we already have internet gateway in public, so for you to easily understand this, it needs to go to private one. So come here, added route, add any traffic that is 000 would hit the route internet NAT gateway, and then this is an active one. Click save, and that's it. We associated NAT gateway to private subnet, and then once we get here, this should definitely work. Hit enter, and there you go. So now we have an outbound traffic that is working just fine. Sorry, this should be cnn.com. Okay, so what we were doing is we already have deployed the RDS database. Now we will use a third-party software like DB Viewer to connect to our DBVIEWER to connect to our database. This is a third-party software. What we'll do is we'll use the endpoint to connect to the database that is in subnet 5 here. This actually takes time. While that happens, I'm just going to try to do something more. Let's go and see if I can find RDS. We have an active database that is running, so we are good there. I'll make sure we have the security group. This is an endpoint that we'll be using. This is still happening. Install this. This computer user. Next, next, next. So this should be quick. Finish. Minimize this. DB Viewer. This is a community edition. It's a free universal database manager. We will get here, we'll copy this endpoint for our subnet 3, I think this is subnet 3, yeah, this is subnet 3. Install this third-party software called DB Viewer. We will connect this to our subnet 5, which is where the database is installed. So if you can see up here, this is all logs, configuration, maintenance, 1B zone. These are the subnets it is installed. Back here, do you want to create a sample database? No. Once we get here, we will use SQL, MySQL, and we'll just paste the endpoint here. Database name is AWS Cloud HS. Username was same, AWS Cloud HS, which was the password, and hit finish. Now this should actually connect to our database, which is actually at the subnet. There you go. So now you can see that we have a database that is now connected to we are connected. Oh, just gives us an error message. Let me take a look. It's taking time. It usually don't take that much time. It says that the last packet sent successfully. Communication failure. Okay, let me take a look at it. Okay, I'm gonna try it one more time. I deleted the older one. I created a new database under name of DB Cloud, DB AWS Cloud. That one wasn't working. Most probably there was an issue with the security group. I just added the security group, and then now I'm gonna just go here, go to RDS, instance, and I will copy the endpoint here. Excuse me. Just here, and then finished. All right, so we are connected now. You can see there's a database here. We created a database table. You can enter table information, and pretty much all set. So what we did was we installed a database, RDS MySQL database, on the subnet, and then we used our regular Bastion host to connect to our one of the subnet, which was, I think, subnet 3. Installed the third-party software called DB Viewer, and that third-party software, we connected our database that was in the system as well. Okay, so that step is also done. Let's go back to our cheat sheet for a second, and then this is done. And now I think step 6 is already done because we needed that to download DB Viewer. So I would put this here. Download DB Viewer on machine, I think it was 0 subnet on subnet 3 the web server server 01 actually. Okay, so that is done. The last part is create SNS. So SNS is basically a notification system. So what basically that does is anything happens onto the network or a machine down, it will send a notification. So let's quickly set that up. Click here, create a topic. I would simply create a topic, standard name AWS Cloud HS, topic HS. We don't need encryption. Right now we don't want policy, no optional logging, just hit create topic. Once we get to create topic, you will create subscription. In subscription, it already showed up on ARM, your ARN protocol. You want to get email, you're gonna want to get a JSON email, SQS, Lambda, Kinesis. I would just simply choose email for now, and I would just say AWS Cloud HS@gmail.com, and then you don't need any filter policy. Create subscription. Once that is done, I would go back to topic. I already have a topic created. Now we'll go to CloudWatch. Actually, what happens is when we create a CloudWatch, it sends an email. When we create a topic, it creates it sends an email just to confirm. I would come here. If you see that it came up saying that, hey, you know what, there's a topic that was created. Can you confirm? I did hit confirm. So now the notification is there's a handshake happened between the two. I'll just leave this here for now. I will go back to what I was doing, CloudWatch, and then we will create alarm dashboard. Come here, create alarm, select metrics. I would this is a little challenging to see. I will look for EC2 by auto scaling, no. By instance, I would search for let's pick up something. Let's pick a EC2. So on EC2, I just want to pick up an instance that is this instance, so web server 2. So if I shut down the web server 2, I should get a notification on my email. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to select this, copy this here, go back, and then we'll put this. And there you go. Everything that is related to that machine will go select whatever. I'm looking up here. And so even if I do CPU utilization, it should, if it's turned on, then you know it would say, hey, the machine is turned off. Just select network. Select metrics. Over here, 5 seconds, I would just do 1 minute. And greater than 5. Next. And then over here I would define my topic, select this one. So now what's going to happen is anything happens to that machine, it will generate an alarm, and it's going to send out an email to my this email address, and that's about it. I would hit, and then you can do further. You can auto scale, you can action to delete or remove, or you know, restart. Click next, and I would say alarm name AWS Cloud HS alarm. Description, you don't need to have description. Next, and you would create an alarm. Okay, so it's going to start gathering details. Right now I don't think I have sufficient data, so it will send out an email in a second, in a bit. So I'm just going to put a pause and come back in next few minutes. Okay, so I think it already has an alarm here. Let's go here and see what's going on. So insufficient data. What we'll do is we'll just go up here and we'll temporarily try to stop this VM. So D03C 0D3C, select this one, and I will just stop this for a second here. So as soon as I stop, you can see that alarm, there is one on 1/1 has no data, but still it should send an email saying that, hey, it's been stopped. Let's go back to my email. and we should get an email soon. There you go. It created an alarm. And there you go. I got an email. So I got an email saying that, hey, you know what? You're receiving this alert, CloudWatch. This is the name I set up, and it's sufficient data. It's because it's been insufficient right now, but the machine is turned off. So I should still get a message saying that it's been turned off. This is how you would set up basically CloudWatch alert for a machine. And now you have a complete solution end to end. You have multiple machines. I'm connected to a jump box, and that jump box is in subnet 3. If I minimize this, so you got two. Oh yeah, so actually I turned off the machine, so the fourth one is not running because the fourth one is the subnet 4 web server 02, because we actually turned it off. So even if I turn back on, that should probably start connecting, and we should be good to go from there. I'll start, and then that's about it. So I believe everything is all good to go. I appreciate you guys watching this channel. I appreciate you guys giving me a thumbs up and liking my channel. It does help me and motivate me to do more videos. As always, if you have any more requests for me to do a quick lab or any other web series, please feel free to send a quick message or leave a comment below. I would love to work on them and get some more video out. Once again, thank you for coming to my channel, Cloud with Hammad, and you have yourself a great day.